All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Peakton Middle School. My name is Narwhal. I am here with Kyle.
The real Kyle.
What a time to be alive.
Not really.
I mean, in a bad way, in like a crazy way.
In the worst way possible, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously a whole lot of shit's gone down in the world in the last week and a half now. Our episodes are behind, so we're ahead on episodes, so the reason this is coming out a little later is because we already had like 2 or 3 episodes done in advance. But we wanted to talk about all the shit going on right now. So if you guys want like a funny episode, this probably isn't the one.
Might not be it.
We'll probably talk about this shit for the whole episode, I'm assuming. So yeah, buckle up. We're just gonna dive right in. I mean,
this is coming from look, I don't know the demographic of our audience, but I'm gonna assume there are quite a few white people. So I feel like right now a lot of it is on white people to understand and to listen to each other. Not listen to each other, but listen to black people and what they have to say. Listen to each other on how we can all improve. Yeah. Because there is a lot of improvement needed. Yeah.
And I think so I guess just right off the bat, I want to start this episode by saying it was announced this morning that the three other officers involved have been charged with aiding and abetting murder. And Derek Chauvin was charged with second-degree murder. So it was like third degree, but now it's second degree.
Okay. I mean, that's an improvement, I guess.
So they have now all been charged, but that still doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Exactly, because they're going to go to trial, and what's happened in the past is... I saw something that Michael Vick has served more time in prison for killing dogs than any police officer has for killing any black person.
Yeah. Dude,
ever.
It's fucking nuts. And I saw that over 99% of policemen involved in police brutality do not spend time in prison.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Which is also absolutely absurd. So, listen, this episode, I have a lot of stuff written down in my notes. So if we're looking at our phones more than usual, it's just because there's certain thoughts that I felt like this needed to be a little more structured than usual. Mm-hmm. Just different things I want to touch on. I don't even know where to start, really.
It's hard to know. I don't know. I'm not in the joking mood where I just want to go about our regular episode.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're touching on it, first of all.
So I think the first thing that's important, at least from what I understand and what I've seen and what I've tried to gather over these last couple weeks and a half, is that I think that a disconnect from people who don't get what's going on or aren't supporting what's going on is that people think that the rioting and the looting is because of this one event. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's so much deeper than that.
People saying the looting is not going to bring back George Floyd. No one thinks it's going to.
Yeah. The
point of this is people are I heard an analogy. I watched a video. If anyone follows me on Twitter, I retweeted this video from Emmanuel Acho. Basically, he's a black man who he posted, it's a 10-minute video where he was just basically laying it out to white people saying listen to this. Here's some questions that white people have been asking me. Here's your answers. It was a very informative video for me. One of the things he said was when I was little, my mom's sister passed away, and I just remember her throwing herself into a wall because she was so sad that she didn't know what else to do. She didn't know how to handle herself. She was just throwing herself. She was so sad, so upset that she was almost like an angry rage. That's why people are doing this, because they're so upset about what's been happening forever, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. They're not just oh, we're mad about it, so we're just going to loot these things. It's just they're trying to get your attention.
Yeah. And finally, so I think that part of the reason why I think the killing of George Floyd and just these riots in particular seem to be having more of an impact already than any of the police brutality cases in the past is, I think, also partly because of how many, I think it's almost a good thing for these riots that coronavirus is happening.
Yeah, because we're all...
in the sense that, everyone's on their phones, everyone's on social media, everyone's already fed up with the way the world is going right now.
And a lot of people have more time to think about it and be able to act on it too.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just really is a shame that it takes like so
Until
many
now.
deaths,
Yeah.
and then it took another one
Yeah.
for before people like will actually engage on it.
Mhm.
And so one thing I wanted to mention that I could relate to a lot. So this guy named Big Cat, who is a host of a really famous sports podcast, he posted something on Instagram yesterday that I kind of related to, I guess. And he said, so he posted one of the black squares for Blackout Tuesday, and he said, talked about this yesterday on the podcast. I've always thought no hashtag or social media post will help anyone, especially coming from me, a guy that never takes the world too seriously and makes fart jokes online. Arian Foster told me the opposite is true. It won't solve the world's problems, but if it shows that I care and support the people who invest their time and money in the content I produce, then it matters. So this isn't me trying to be trendy or clout chasing. It's simply letting people know where I stand on the issue. I support Black Lives Matter. So for me, in the past, I hate to say it, but like for up until now, I have felt the same way that like I never engaged in anything on social media. All the police brutality. No, I'm just saying all the serious issues in the past, all the other killings, all the other police brutality, all the other racism that's been happening. Like this is the first time in my life that I've actually engaged on it in social media and like put my stance out there. And I felt like before it was because I felt like, well, I still at the core, I think the real changes are going to be made through voting and through elections, from the giving people who like putting people in charge who have the power to make substantial changes. But I do think it also proves that using social media actually does have an impact.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying, I don't think that everyone has to post. Like, obviously there's people who don't even use social media who are supporting it. People who don't have a Facebook or Instagram could still be donating, still be signing petitions. But I do think that it is a powerful tool, and it was proved to be true so far.
It definitely is. And a lot of things with social media where I'm guilty of this in the past too, of, you know, I don't want to post something that's quote unquote political or controversial. Well, first of all, people that are saying this is a political thing, it is in terms of like we need to vote for the right people, but people are saying like, oh, the Republicans, you know, like I'm Republican, so like I probably shouldn't be supporting all these protests.
It's not
that
even,
it shouldn't be that.
It's a human rights issue.
It's a lives thing, like lives, like people's lives. It's a justice thing. You shouldn't be, just because, you know, you lean to the right or you lean to the left, you shouldn't be supporting it because you lean to the left, or supporting it or not supporting it because you lean to the right. Like this is, everybody should be supporting this. There's like no excuse not to, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, like we've said it before in the podcast, we don't like to talk politics on the show. And I still will say that I'm not someone who enjoys the process of politics. I don't look forward to like
voting day,
researching or voting or like seeing the debates. Like that's just, I don't enjoy it. But as I've grown up, I've come to realize that it is like a duty. Like you're not supposed to, this isn't fun for anybody.
No.
But I don't know. I've seen some tweets of people saying like, if you're not posting on social media, like you're part of the problem. And I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, I don't think you have to be posting on social media. There's a lot of other ways you can support the Black Lives Matter movement. But I don't know. I think what Big Cat said was really important, because I had always felt that way. And maybe other people listening did too, that like, it's not going to do anything. It's going to like, the real changes are made when new people get elected. Yes, but social media is what influences people on who to vote for.
That's true.
So,
but yeah, and back to the social media thing. It was where I was going with it, but I got kind of sidetracked. But in the past, I feel like I haven't posted about that kind of stuff because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to like ruffle feathers. I don't want people not agreeing with my, you know, like, if someone posts something political, it's kind of annoying. Like that's why I don't like going on Facebook, because it's a lot of just like political stuff. Like, oh, Trump sucks. Oh, I love Trump. I'm like, I don't really want to engage with that.
Yeah.
But it's sad for me to think that I was avoiding posting about Black Lives Matter, about police brutality, when really that shouldn't even be an argument.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of things that you need to like realize within yourself that like you have been wrong in the past and like this is the time to change.
Yeah.
And I saw a tweet that said, normalize being it like changing your opinion and like learning new information and changing your opinion, because people are so afraid to change their opinion. They don't want to be wrong. They want to stick to their side, and just like they're so gung-ho on their side. And then both people on both sides are guilty, but it's things like this that like you can't just be on the other side of this. Like, how can you be?
I mean, I think, listen, you and me and most the people on most of the people on Twitter are all in agreement, right? Because Twitter is very much more liberal. Like, most of the users on Twitter are liberal people.
At least the people that we see. Because I don't want to follow.
Exactly. And like, since the majority of Twitter is much more liberal, the stuff that goes viral is going to be more liberal. And you're not going to see like someone saying like, you know, Trump 2020 getting like 100,000 retweets. It's just not going to happen on Twitter. And I think, obviously, we think you and I are and most people are in agreement that this is just like a fact that that like you should support this movement. We just think that's how it is.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who aren't on Twitter that like literally still don't agree with that, and like they truly think they're right. That's
that's what like hurts me to my core, that people really are truly racist. And like I think there's different kinds of racism. There's like racism without even knowing it, where you know like you might just like, for example, there's a show on Netflix called I think it's called 100 Humans. It's like a social experiment kind of thing. And there's an episode on like how people view black people versus white people, and it's an example is like it shows a white person with like their list of crimes and a black person with their list of crimes, and it says like how many years in jail should this person get for the crimes. And for black people, for the black person it's way high, like way worse charges for their crimes. And that's, people are doing that without even noticing it. And when they found out, like, it makes them sad to hear that. So that's like one kind of racism where you don't even realize that you're being racist, and that's just like the system you were brought up in. That's just like how you think without even realizing it. And then there's people, there's fucking racist.
Yeah.
That are just like hate black people or hate people of a different like religion, or well, I guess not religion, but like
no, I mean that's race. That's too. I mean that's not racism, but that is still a prevalent.
Yeah, that's still a problem.
Well. Yeah. But yeah, and so I guess where I was going with that is I think that is why it's so important for people who are on social media to share with their parents, or like I was in an Uber ride on the way to the airport the other day with this guy who like clearly like pretty conservative, and like it was hard. Like I was trying, so he had like the news radio on, obviously, like listening about the protests, and this guy was just like saying everything he thought. And I tried to like pose questions. I was trying to engage with the guy and ask him like, well, like, do you think these protests are like necessary? Like I was trying to read him out and see what he was thinking, and like, when do you think these are going to end? And it is hard. Like it's really hard to talk with someone who you entirely disagree with on something. Yeah. And like, I didn't really know what to, I'll be honest. Like I didn't make any progress. I didn't like get him to see my side, but I think like, cause you get uncomfortable, and I'm like, this guy definitely does not support anything happening right now. No. But like, I'm going to try and first see why he thinks that, and then try and like be like, well, do you see that like these riots are happening for stuff much more than just one killing, blah, blah, blah. Like, but that's a hard thing to do.
I know. And like, I don't want to be negative, but there's some people like, I just don't think you can get to them because they're so brought up in their beliefs, and they're so just like, this is what's right. This is what I know is right. But really, it's not right.
Yeah. And well, I think I think it's ultimately going to have to be like,
you got to die.
Yeah. Like some
you just
people
gotta
wait
for the racists to die off. For them to die. And like, I've joked about that in the past, but like, that's true. Like the racist people like there are young racist people, which
that's
usually taught by older racist people, which is a bummer. But usually they kind of, they're getting older. There is going to come a point where like they'll die off, and like that's sad, but like,
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I saw a tweet from Steve Kerr saying like the young generation is so much more educated, engaged, and like involved than any prior generations. And I think that's ultimately the issue, is that if you're like 80 years old and you grew up in like the South, and you're an 80-year-old like white guy
Jim
from the
Crow
South,
laws
and you're just hardcore racist, like obviously it's not right and it's horrible, but you realistically, like, you're not going to change that guy.
It's so ingrained into that guy's memory, into that guy's mind, that these people are the enemy and, you know, white people are good.
Yeah.
It's just like, it hurts my soul to see that and hear that. And people that I know are like that. And it's just sad.
One thing I wanted to bring up, why is Twitter the only place for like reliable, or no, it's okay, I guess you can't say reliable, because for all we know, some of these videos, there could be other shit happening. If it's a 10-second video, who knows what went on before or after, but it's the only place of like unbiased news.
Yeah, the news.
And it's I shouldn't have to go to Twitter to find news, but it's like, bro, the news is reporting. I saw one where like there was a video of like these fights and the cops like beating people up or something, and the reporter was like, I don't know what they said, something along the lines of like, yeah, we don't see an issue here, like it seems to be going well,
like they're just like they're taking down the protesters because they're getting aggressive, basically.
Yeah, and it's like, do they think we're blind? Like, do you see what's happening?
They're just beating up people.
Now, like I said, we have to be fair. Some videos that go viral, in my opinion, I don't think, like, a lot of them I do think should be getting out there, but some of them, if it's a 10-second clip of a cop punching someone, we don't really know what happened before.
You have to see the before.
I'm not saying that those are fake or that they're not justified. I'm just saying if I'm trying to look for the evidence, you got to at least see what happened beforehand.
And another one, I thought this was the video you're even going to talk about. I don't know if you've seen this one, but it was a news. I want to say it was like CNBC or CBC or something like that. It was a video of like cop cars and a crowd of people. And they were talking about like, oh, look at these cops. They're surrounded by people. They can't even go anywhere. Like, oh, boo-hoo. Like the cops can't move. And it cuts away. But the real video, 1 second after they cut away, the cop just floors it into the crowd of people and like runs over people.
Yeah. Like, dude, that had to have like maybe killed people or at least broke their
Definitely.
bones.
I've seen so many people getting run over. I've seen cops chasing people, shooting them with those rubber bullets. Can we retire the rubber bullets? I've seen people losing their eyes. A guy got shot in the head.
I don't understand. I mean, I don't get why these cops have to walk around in like full on, like intense gear.
They're preparing for. I mean,
like you have to be safe, or they're trying to protect themselves. But why do they need fucking like insane armor when it's just a peaceful protest?
It's hard because like, I mean, put yourself in a cop's shoes. Like they don't know what the protesters are gonna do. So like you would want to be protected. But like if then if you're in a protester's shoes, if you see this cop all geared up, like he could beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Or she. Like I don't know. It's like they're preparing for battle, and now we got the fucking military got sent on us.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. What's your opinion on, I've seen a lot of tweets that were saying like, if you're a cop, just quit. And they're like, if you really supported Black Lives Matter, you wouldn't want to be a cop because the system is so corrupt.
Yeah.
And I'll give my opinion first. I personally disagree with that. Like, I get what people are saying. Mm-hmm. You've seen the tweet a million times, but it's like, oh, obviously not all cops are bad, but we're not talking about the good cops. We're talking about the bad cops.
The bad cops outweigh the good cops, in my opinion, by a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you saw there's like a Dave Chappelle Chris Rock, where he's like, oh, like you can't have one bad apple in cops.
Exactly.
Like, you can't have one bad apple that's a pilot who just like crashes planes.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know. Like people are saying that like the cops shouldn't exist, period. That there just shouldn't be cops. And I just don't agree with that. I mean, obviously, listen, there's been a lot of black people murdered. There's been a lot of police brutality from cops. But at the same time, I'm sure there have also been many, many, many lives saved and people protected by the good cops. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that takes away from the fact that bad shit has happened. Yeah. But I think a lot more people would die if we just didn't have cops, period.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, if we didn't have cops, it'd be
a
chaos. But it's chaos. It's also chaos right now, and we have cops. But yeah, that's hard because I feel like if you are one of the good cops that is like on the side of the protesters and like on, you know, supports Black Lives Matter, I feel like to give up or to, you know, like quit and maybe like you're joining the protesters, then the ratio of good cops to bad cops, the bad cops rises.
Exactly.
And like I feel like if
you
you're a
lose
good
one.
if you're a good cop, you need to be talking to the bad cops, standing up against the bad cops.
Yeah.
Like calling out bad cops.
Yeah. And I saw a tweet from a guy who's a cop. I don't know what state he was in, but he was saying like, I'm a police officer. This is my third night in a row going out to the riots. Like every time I leave, like every night my daughters and wife have been crying because they don't know what's going to happen. But he's like, you can hate me. You can say whatever you want about me, but I am here to protect you guys. So I'm going to keep doing that duty. So it's like the cops as a whole are getting a bad rap because of the few bad apples. But there are people who genuinely, their mission in life is just to like protect and serve people. Mm-hmm. And I just think that to say to like a guy like that who's genuinely trying to like make the world a better place that he should quit, why would he? Like, obviously, I get the argument like, oh, he's a part of a system that's like based on systemic racism. But if he's trying to protect people, like, I don't know. I just think that him quitting would do more harm than good.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I feel like more than anything, there needs to be more people signing up to be cops that are good people. Like, if you're a good person, like, I don't know, what would suck from this would be for people to see all this and see how bad of a rap cops are getting and then just say, oh, I don't want to be a cop anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what we need.
That's scary because, yeah, if the younger kids who are, you know, 14, 15 now maybe are turned away from being cops now, there's still going to be some people that become cops, but there's probably a lot higher percentage of them to be like racist.
More than anything, I think there needs to be just a whole full-scale police reform. Like, I saw another tweet. Like, I'm getting a lot of ideas from Twitter, just from, you know, regular people tweeting out their ideas, and a lot of them are good. I mean, a lot of them are bad, but a lot of them are good. And there was this girl saying, like, the minimum requirement to be a cop is so... It's
you don't
not much.
You don't need to go to college.
Yeah, you don't need to go to college.
I think that it should be the first thing.
Yeah.
You need to get a degree to be a cop, I feel
She was saying, like, it should be, like, you should be taking social work classes and learning social work because that's what being a police officer is you're in the community dealing with people, all different lives of people. You should have at least take courses on it, but, like, maybe just the minimum should be have a social work degree.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw they need to take psychology classes, like, I don't know, like criminal defense, like all the shit that goes into being a cop.
Yeah.
But a lot of them never learn. Dude, imagine I could be a cop right now.
Yeah, you would have to.
Well, I would be a terrible cop. Why should I be allowed to be a cop?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the kind of thing where you just like sign up and get it. Like, you got to pass the test, which you would pass the physical test. You would.
Yeah.
There's like a written test, so there would be stuff you need to study.
Sure.
But yeah, after that, obviously there's training involved. But yeah.
Yeah, but like that's the thing is like if I could bullshit not bullshit, but if I studied enough to pass the test, pass the physical, and then I go through training, bro, most able-bodied people could do that, even if you're a terrible person.
Yeah.
So,
which is why there are so many shitty people.
Exactly.
But also think about this, like in a lot of the small towns where racism is just so prevalent, like they have to have cops.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the cops are racist, but they don't have any other options. It's like, what do we do there?
Yeah, these are the tough questions where it's like that's an example of. Like, listen, social media can start the change, but I think, like I said, I think the real change can't come from us. It has to come from us voting.
Yeah, voting for the right people
who can make the changes.
Yeah, we can't just change that.
This is kind of unrelated, but I just have certain thoughts written down that are all related to the same topic, but not necessarily related to each other. So I'm just going to. So I wanted to ask you about what are your thoughts on social media of like, I've seen some tweets where it's just like all caps and it's like fuck racist and it goes viral, right?
Yeah.
And listen, I agree. fuck racists. Okay,
I agree. We can all agree.
I think everyone can agree.
We've said we are an anti-Nazi show. We're an anti-racist show.
I think we've said that in the past.
Well, we can just like double down on that. We are anti-racist.
We've had a list. We've had anti-Nazi,
anti-racist.
We have like 2 or 3 others that are just always on the list. Okay, but I don't know. On social media, I just don't see what purpose those serve. Because think about it. You tweet "fuck racist."
You know you're getting retweets.
Yeah, and 90% of the people, like Twitter at sometimes is an echo chamber where most of the people on there agree with my thoughts. Rarely do I go on Twitter and see something on my timeline that I don't agree with, and that's because most of the people.
That's how timelines work. Like
yeah, like you're gonna see stuff you agree with. But I just, in my opinion, like the whole "fuck racist" thing. I agree with that statement, but I don't think that serves any real purpose because it's like the people who are the racists, if you got in an Uber and the driver was really racist and I was just be like, fuck you, you racist. That's not going to do
Some people would.
It's not going to do anything to him. Like it's not going to, I feel like it's just
going to make him jaded towards you.
Exactly. And then they're even more unlikely to change. Yeah. I think there are probably a lot of people that are like racist that maybe in the back of their mind, they see what they're doing wrong or like why their thoughts are flawed, but they don't want to change because they've had experiences with people in the past that have like made them feel like a racist. Like, I mean, they should feel like a racist, but like, I think if people go about it in the wrong way, it could even prevent people from being willing to change their ideas.
That's what's hard because like, if I were to have a conversation right now with somebody that was just not on the same page with the Black Lives Matter, like they're saying like, oh, well, all lives matter actually. First of all, obviously they do. But right now, Black Lives Matter because, well, they haven't mattered. So that's why they matter right now. Yeah. Okay, we're glad we cleared that up. That was something that like personally, in the past, I saw Black Lives Matter as like, oh, that's kind of divisive. Like, why can't we say all lives matter? I get it now. So like that's me. Like I can admit that like I didn't understand that, and I totally understand that now. I fully support it.
Like I think it's important to note that no one ever said that all lives didn't matter. Yeah. They're just saying that right now, like this is the movement we need to, because right now, to the society, Black lives seem to matter less, which is entirely wrong. So we need to get behind Black Lives Matter before all lives can matter.
Exactly. And where was I going with
that? So
you
were saying like if you were getting a conversation with someone that was just like hardcore.
Yeah. Racist. So if we just had no common ground, we just couldn't agree. Like it would be hard to not yell at their face. Like I'm somebody that like I'm not usually a very aggressive person, but when I like hit my point of just like frustration or just like you're dumb, I like that's when like I'll yell, and that wouldn't help at all.
Yeah.
But that's why it's like how can we get to people like that?
I think, okay, so I agree with that. I've noticed that this isn't a bad thing about you, but when there's something you're really passionate about, like you'll hold your ground, and that's good. Like you're very firm in what you believe. But I feel like tell me if you agree or disagree. I think if there was someone who was really racist, I think I would be able to deal with them better.
I think you would.
Than you.
I would,
because I think you would like just want to like punch them.
Yes.
Or like scream at them.
I would want to.
And I think there's a lot of people like you who like don't even want to associate with someone who doesn't agree with them. I also, this is related, I think, but like, I don't know how I feel about when it's like, oh, if you don't see this the same way I do, like block me. I think that defeats the purpose, because I think if someone blocks you, it's like cutting off someone who has a different opinion than you. So there's no possibility of them ever changing because they don't see your side of the argument anymore.
I think, yeah, I get that. But I think also part of it is like, they just don't want people in their, like, if it's different opinions, like political opinions, like, okay, whatever, like people have different opinions, whatever. But this is like past political. So like, I don't want to be associated with people that are racist.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want them to follow me. Like if you're racist, like let me know. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get that this is bigger than politics. This is just like your morals.
Yeah.
As a human being.
And like a lot of athletes have been speaking up, like, don't wear my jersey. Like, I don't want to be on your body. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't wear my, like, quote unquote, like, skin, like my jersey. Like,
yeah.
don't support me if I don't support you.
Yeah. So, okay, I get that. There are times though when I think it's important to engage these people who are blatantly racist and clearly I think there's some things in life that are opinion, some matters of politics. I don't think there's necessarily right or wrong. I think it's different people view the world in a different way. But then there's some things like racism, sexism, that are just facts of life. Yeah. Okay. But I think it's important to like engage these people who are racist with like without losing your shit. Because as soon as you lose your shit, then they're like, that reinforces this idea that like, oh, why should I get behind this if this person can't even talk to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I was trying to talk to the guy in the Uber, but I wasn't really getting anywhere because it's like I don't really know how to have those conversations. But I think it's much more important to like keep your cool than to just be like, are you fucking crazy? Yeah. How could you think that, you idiot?
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah. I know and that's why we need people that can have those. Like, we need to vote for people that can have that because, like, look,
bro, what the fuck is our president,
dude?
What the fuck?
Like,
how is this a real? How is he real?
It's embarrassing. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Like,
bro, that video, the fake promo, the propaganda,
holding his fucking Bible, like burning in his hand. There's the you've seen the video of him, like, they ask him, what's your favorite Bible verse? And he goes, oh, that's so personal to me. I can't even say.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, the guy's like, so you can't say like one Bible verse. It's just, I don't want to get into that. It's just too personal to me.
That for any Christian, saying your favorite Bible verse is not a personal thing. It's like every Bible verse is out there.
Yeah.
It's like if you were to say like, yo, what's your favorite word? And I was like,
I can't.
It's too personal.
It's so personal to me. Yeah,
what?
No. It's like, it's funny thinking about him, but it's also like, yeah, it's funny because it's just, he's so embarrassing and like so fucking stupid on so many levels. But it's like past that point, dude. It's been past that point for a while. It's just embarrassing. It's sad. It's just awful, dude. Like,
bro, imagine if he gets reelected.
Oh man. Yeah, people got to vote. Like, dude, it's just,
bro, listen, we've said it before. We don't like politics, and I still don't know who I want to vote for, and I would never tell anyone listening who they should vote for. But all I'm saying is do your research and like think about your morals and do your research and what you believe in and try and figure out who most closely fits that.
And I feel like politically right now, there are not a lot of good options. Let's just say it. For president, it's pretty much between Trump and Joe Biden. Personally, I don't think either of them are very good people to begin with. I think that both of them are pretty fake.
That's also how it was last election.
That's also how it was last election. That's part of why Trump won, I think, is just because Hillary sucked.
People thought it was lesser of two evils.
But
now look at where we are.
Look at where we are, and like, I think we're gonna have to vote for that again. And like, it sucks that you're gonna have to vote for who sucks less, but that's how I'm judging my vote on, and I know who sucks way more. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I also saw some tweets of people saying like, just remember, you don't have to vote for Biden. Now, obviously, like, the other people aren't gonna win, but I don't know. I saw some tweet where it's like, even if statistically this person who you support and you think you like them, even though they're not going to win, as an American, it's kind of like, not your obligation, but like, you should, even if you know they're not going to win, vote for what you believe in, sort of thing. And I don't know. I don't know.
In like Bernie.
Yeah, like, I don't know how I feel on that, but like, I don't know. Anyways.
Like, I get that, but I feel like at this point, like, if it's second place, like, you got to go for second place because you don't want whoever's in that bronze position. Well, he's not even in the bronze position. He's like,
it's like first, second, and then like ninth.
Yeah, you don't want to vote for ninth, or you don't want to vote for who you think is in first, and then the ninth place person wins because you voted for the wrong person. That's all I have to say on it. Also, sorry, he's just it just gets me on this rant, but like, so divisive. Like, a president should be unifying the people. He has done nothing to unify people in this time, and this is, I just think about like any other president ever would have had better things to say.
Yeah.
Even if it's fake, like just say it to like try to unify people.
Yeah.
You know?
That's kind of going back to what I was saying about talking to people who like disagree with you. It's like not even people who are just overtly racist, but I've seen some people say that if you support Trump at all, you're racist. And I don't know, like I get that. I'm not I'm still trying to decide how I feel about that one, but I think it's important to try and talk to people not just about like Black Lives Matter, but also why they view Trump the way they do, why they support him, and like I don't know. I mean, it's tough these are tough conversations.
Yeah. And like to that I would relate like what Drew Brees said today. He said something like I could never support somebody who is kneeling for the flag. Mm-hmm. I feel like that is just missing the whole point of everything.
Now,
because he's saying like, okay, I'm not gonna kneel because my grandfather fought for this country, and like he fought for like what we have now. It's like, yeah, it's great for you, but it's not great for everybody. And other people fought for that, and they came back, and it wasn't like that for them. Like black people fought, and they came back, and they were still called the N-word. They were still just like
the country like hated
shit.
them.
Yeah. So how can you? So I feel like supporting something that is only good for you, I feel like you just can't do that. Like at this point, you got to be supporting something that's inclusion for everybody.
But some people just don't view the world that way.
Yeah, and that's
now. But does Drew Brees saying that, does that make him a racist? Because I personally I don't agree with him, but I don't think that means he's a racist.
I wouldn't say he's not. I'm not gonna say he's like the person where he's just like, oh, he hates black people. But he's somebody that like a lot of people were before all of this is happening, where they don't realize that like the impact that has. Like he's saying, I support the flag, I support our country. Like I would never disrespect people who fought for our country. And it's like, yeah, because that's great for you, but it's not great for everybody. And because you're saying, I want to support that and keep that, that's saying I don't want you to like, I don't want these other people to, like have a good life, basically. Yeah. That kind of thing.
I think that's the main core difference between the people that are supporting the protests, supporting Black Lives Matter, and the people who don't, is that the people supporting this are trying to, at least in my opinion, trying to see this, how it's affecting others outside of their circle.
Yeah.
Like, listen, we had a post on PIMS. We're two white males. Mm-hmm. We are extremely privileged, and we're aware of that, which is why I feel like we need to speak up and try and like learn, because like it doesn't directly affect us at all. No. We could go about our days, or
it wouldn't change my life.
It would not change a single thing about my life personally, but it's bigger than that. And I think that's the difference. Is some people it's like, well, if it doesn't affect me, like that's their thing, like they can deal with it. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the entirely wrong mindset to have.
Yeah, and that's like the mindset that I did kind of have. It's like, oh, I would see like, oh, that's terrible. I hate that happened. Like, how could you just like kill this innocent black man or black woman or whatever? And I would kind of just go about my business because it's not directly affecting me. Like, I can just live my life and, kind of like push out of my head. But yeah, I've gotten to the point where like I recognize that I had been doing that, and I know that that's wrong. So now I'm more conscious about it, and like I'm just feel mentally drained from these past couple days. And like to me, that's how black people have always been feeling. You know what I mean? Like, because they have to live in this fear. And like if I'm just like, oh, I'm so exhausted from this, and I've just been sitting at home,
it's like bro, it's been like 400 years.
I know it's that's sad to me that like I never really realized that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still haven't realized that.
Dude, I'm just upset with myself and like ashamed that this is the first time that I've donated to Black Lives Matter. Me too. When there's been in our lifetime, I can remember 4 or 5 listen, I know there's been more, but I can remember 4 or 5 like nationwide police like brutality murders that have happened against black men and women. And I remember hearing about them, but I never took action. And this is the first time. And I don't know. It's sad to me that it took me this long to actually like take action.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in our shoes right now that are like finally realizing that this is so bad. Like, it's been interesting for me to see like people that I view, or like people that I guess I follow on social media or whatever, that I've been seeing what they're posting now, and I think they were kind of in my shoes before, because I did not expect some of the people to be saying like completely supporting Black Lives Matter and all this stuff. There's a lot of people that I would not have ever seen that. And I think that's awesome that people are finally seeing it.
Yeah.
There just needs to be more of it.
Yeah. You had something you wanted to say about
Oh yeah. So on the last episode, I don't know if you guys are watched or not. I was not there. Jordan claimed to be me.
Yeah, so last episode it was me and Jordan because we were in California, so Kyle couldn't be there, but you said you had a thought related to that episode.
Yeah, so you guys were talking about
thoughts.
Yeah, like
where
thoughts
come
like
from.
where thoughts come from, and like you were talking about how like drugs can kind of like give you more
like
thoughts,
alter your mind state,
alter
and
your
like
mind. Yeah, give you
allow you to like bring new ideas into the world.
Yeah, or to get to a space that you just didn't think you could get to. And then you were saying being uncomfortable, like when you're doing the 30 Days of Hell, you were just so like tired, exhausted, like just uncomfortable, and you started getting these more creative ideas and like changing how you were thinking. So when I heard that, it kind of made me think about everything that's happening right now, and like people have been saying it, we need to have these uncomfortable conversations. Like this conversation we're having, like it's uncomfortable.
It's
like,
not fun.
I don't want to. Yeah, it's not fun, and that's, you know, we usually try to have fun on this show, but like we don't need to be having fun right now. Like having uncomfortable conversations is very, very important, especially right now. But that's exactly why you should have uncomfortable conversations, is because it can, like you were saying, it can change the way that you think, and you can kind of like get to a new way of thinking.
Yeah,
which is exactly why you need to be having these conversations with people, because if you can get to that space of it's just an uncomfortable conversation, and it's like your mind, I don't know where I'm going with this.
I'll help out.
Okay.
Let me know if
continue.
So I think if you have these conversations that put you outside your comfort zone and you don't feel good about it, and you're like I said, like a lot of these things, I've been ashamed that this is the first time that I've put in an effort. But like I think talking about at least our thoughts and opinions on it, I think we'll come out of this with like different ideas from conversing with each other, and hopefully the listeners will actually like listen. We might lose some followers, but first of all, that's good.
I don't care.
But I think there will be people that like maybe disagree, and if they even happen to willing enough to click and listen, they might kind of like, maybe it's just one little aspect of what we talked about. It might change their view on one particular thing.
I would hope that's kind of the goal, I feel like, of this conversation. If everyone's just like, we're all on the same page, then it's like, all right, what's the point of this conversation?
Yeah. I mean, I've said it before, but my dad is like conservative. But like when I talk with him, I think, in my opinion, I think it's good to, when I have conversations with him, because I actually get to see his point of view. And there's times when I don't agree with something, and then I'll talk to him about it, some political thing, and he'll give me his side, I give him my side, and then I'm like, wow, I actually agree with you now, and I change my side. And I think that back and forth is important. Like, I don't have like a label on what I like, my political stance, but because I think it's just a mixture of like a bunch of different things that I personally think is right,
which is what it should be.
Yeah, like I don't think anyone should label.
Yeah, you should not label yourself as, I'm a liberal, so I have to believe all these things. Like, you can be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, when I say my dad is conservative, I don't mean he's like, fuck yeah, Trump, baby.
Yeah,
like
guns everywhere.
It's not like that. It's just historically, like, if you look up the definition of like someone who's more conservative, he leans maybe more that way than more liberal. But I think it's important, like, to talk with people that you don't agree with, because it will help them learn some things. But there's also times when my dad, or like, no, I'm not just my dad, but other people who I don't agree with, they'll tell you something and you're like you don't want to, like, that's what you were saying earlier. It should be normal to change your opinion on something, but it doesn't feel good, because then you feel silly for what you used to believe. At least for me, that's the thing, is like when you publicly change your opinion or go back on what you said, you feel silly, because
you
it's
be
like
a hypocrite.
Yeah, you don't want to.
No one likes a hypocrite.
But there are times when that's good.
Yeah, I feel like in this time, people are so accepting of you flipping your views. I mean, hopefully it's to the right, to the good side. Like, if all of a sudden you're just like, I know this, I can't do this. I think white people are better. Like, don't be like that.
I don't think there's anyone that's done that.
There's no way. But going off of that, like you were saying, like it's important to talk to people with different views. It's something that I've been hearing a lot of people say on Twitter, or like just whatever through passing. Like, the most important thing you can do right now is just listen to black people, especially if you're a white person or somebody of a different race. Like, you can have conversations with white people, but really you don't know what it's like to be a black person. You need to like listen to what black people have to say, because it can give you a little bit of perspective of where they're coming from and how you can help. Because the worst thing we can do right now is think that we're helping, but really we're not helping because we're white and we don't understand. You need to understand, listen to what black people are saying. There's plenty of videos, resources that you can find. Like I said, that Emmanuel Acho, it's ACHO is his last name. Just look up him and you'll find the video.
Kyle retweeted it. So.
Yeah, I retweeted it if you follow me on Twitter at KyleStafford36. Very, very informative video. It's been going viral. He's going to be doing more episodes, so follow him for sure. He's been very, very helpful.
Yeah. Listen, we could talk about this for hours, but I think we've covered a lot of good bases so far. One thing I wanted to talk about, this might be a longer episode than usual, by the way, guys. But I wanted to talk about like the protests specifically now and coronavirus, okay? Because this is a confusing time.
This will be interesting to see what happens with coronavirus.
So, listen, I think that standing up for human rights and black lives is more important than worrying about the spread of an infectious disease that can also kill people.
I agree.
But
you know what's a really even worse infectious disease? Racism.
Wow, that was good.
Very bad disease.
That is a horrible disease. Now, listen.
But it can be cured.
I think that these protests are more important than coronavirus. But, like, I still think coronavirus is a really serious deal.
I know.
And it's just, it's
hard.
It's comical in the sense of, like, how fucking bad is this timing, dude? Like,
is it good or bad, though?
It's good.
You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, like, it's good because it's so much more people are getting behind it because of the situation in the world with coronavirus. Mm-hmm. But, dude, it's just the perfect storm, though, for coronavirus to fucking explode. Yeah. And it's also funny because there have been so many people that are, like, so serious about quarantining and, like, not seeing people for months. And you, like, they're like, oh, you can't see anyone. And then they'll go to a protest with, like, 10,000 people.
I know.
It's like,
but that's what are you doing? Yeah, but that's because, like, this outweighs coronavirus.
I know, but it's like, how could you be like shitting on people for seeing people and then you're going to go and be around like 10,000 people?
But that's because it's more important.
I know. And like and it's good they're there.
Yeah.
But it's also just kind of funny.
It's a little hypocritical, but it's like the best hypocritical thing I could think of right now.
But like, listen, I just got back from California. Like when I was in California, all this shit started and there's been protests in Seattle like every day and I want to go. But I'm been really confused and like didn't know what to do. So I actually looked up what are the odds of catching coronavirus if you go to these protests.
Well, first of all, you should be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Also, police officers ripping people's masks off to spray them.
Yeah. What the fuck
are you doing? That's so fucked up.
Yeah. And like when they arrest you, they take your masks off, and then all the arrested people are huddled together.
Yeah.
With their masks off.
They probably do that on purpose. They probably don't give a fuck.
So, I just looked up an article. This was a long ass article it was basically from doctors giving their thoughts on like what your odds are of catching this. And, I'm just going to read some things. It says 2 public health emergencies have collided in the United States, the COVID-19 pandemic and the pandemic of police violence against people of color. In some cases, the rate of black men killed by police rivals that posed by serious infectious disease. And then there's a quote that says, protests are life-saving for black people in this country.
It's true.
Even though being in the streets increases your risk of COVID-19 infection, we all know that risk exists anyway. So it's kind of like you got to pick your poison. And it's like, what do you think is more important? So then there was another tweet from a doctor that said 1 in 1,000 black men and boys will be killed by police in their lifetime. And then it also says 1 in 1,000 is also the mortality rate of measles, a risk deemed so deadly it is near constant public health surveillance and prevention. That we don't treat police violence the same is a form of racism.
That's actually a crazy stat. 1 in 1,000
black men will be killed by police in their lifetime.
Wow, that's a lot worse than I thought it was.
It's the same as measles.
That's so bad.
Police tactics threaten to accelerate the spread of COVID-19. The use of tear gas and pepper sprays are a public health nightmare. Both cause incessant coughing. Oil-based pepper spray causes tears, mucus, and saliva to form in the eyes, nose, and mouth. And then a doctor said, tear gas and pepper spray would be the last agent I would use during this time. You amplify the possibility of spreading. So it's literally the perfect storm to spread the virus a bunch. And so it's just hard because, like, if I lived by myself, it wouldn't even be a question. I would go to the protest, risk getting infected because I think I'm okay with that risk. Mm-hmm. But I'm worried because I live with my parents who are a bit older, mid-60s. Yeah. So it's hard because it's like, if I get infected and bring it to them, it's out of their control. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't ask to get it, and they wouldn't have got it if it wasn't for me going and getting it and bringing it back to them. But at the same time, it's one of those things. You got to see, like, which risk, what is better to risk?
Yeah.
Going to support Black Lives Matter and potentially getting it, or, like, not infecting your parents. I don't know.
I know.
It's really tough. I mean, I want to go. So I've been thinking maybe, obviously, I'll get gloves, mask, like everything I can do to stay as safe as I can. And then I thought maybe there would be a way where, like, although I live at home, maybe I could, like, isolate in the studio. But, like, I don't know. Like, how could I avoid my family for 2 weeks?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah. Bring them with you.
I know. I mean, I think that'd be cool. But, like, then they risk getting it even more if they're there.
That was probably bad advice.
But, I mean, I don't know. You've seen, like, 90-year-old people at these protests. I saw one where it was a sign. It was this lady, and she said, like, I can't believe I'm 66 and still dealing with this bullshit, or still have to protest this bullshit.
Yeah, it's it's going to be interesting to see the next couple days what the growing rate is for coronavirus, because there is going to be a bump. Like, it's pretty much inevitable. Like a factual thing. Like, more people are getting it now.
So then what do we do if, like, what if it gets really bad? Like way worse than the original surge from these,
I don't know.
Do we keep protesting? What are people, if it gets really, really fucking bad?
I don't know.
Like, are they, I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't protest. Like, morally, protesting should be happening, but I'm just saying statistically, more people could die from coronavirus than the protest.
And it's a bummer because it's the people that care about this issue the most that are protesting that are going to be the ones that are, like, potentially infected and dying.
Oh, another thing that I read in the article from that doctor that I didn't even think about, they were saying, so these Black Lives Matter protest, there's a lot of black people there, obviously. Mm-hmm. And black people, statistically, we've seen are more likely to die from coronavirus because since the system is so fucked up, they have less access to health care. Yeah. And so then they're more likely to die because they can't get health care. So it's like these protests could potentially be infecting the black people the most.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
And you know, there's some shitty person that just is a racist that has coronavirus that's intentionally going out there and coughing on people. Like, that's a fact. There is somebody out there.
People do that?
There's definitely somebody.
I didn't even think of that.
There's absolutely somebody that's doing
Someone knows they have it and just. But if you know you have it, aren't you normally, like, in the hospital?
You could have no symptoms.
You could have it and be asymptomatic.
Yeah, dude. If somebody, like, is found out that they were breaking their own quarantine, because, like, I think you legally have to quarantine yourself if you have it. If it's somehow someone finds out, like, maybe a neighbor sees them leaving and they, like, tattle on them, and they are seen, like, coughing on people, send that bitch to jail for so long.
You know, it'd be funny, not funny, horribly, ironically not funny.
If they died.
No, if they get less time in jail than like
they would.
They would 100% get
yeah.
less time than a black person.
Exactly, which is why people are protesting.
Yeah,
right now.
this is the exactly
it.
So
yeah.
So I don't know, man. I feel like we've covered a lot of good bases, but one thing that I think we need to like. This is not. I really hope this isn't just like a
phase,
1 week fad that like dies out. Like we need
to keep this up.
The white people need to keep it up, and you can't just like in 3 weeks when we can't just forget about it.
Yeah,
because then it defeats the purpose.
And that's why I like that black boxes thing. I didn't understand it at first. I get it, like you're showing support. I made a post on my Instagram story because it made me mad. Some of the I don't want to like individual people out, like single people out, but like I said something along the lines of this should not be how you're supporting. Like you can do it to support, but this should not be the first and only time you are showing your support for this. Don't just post it like a trend. Like donate, learn, talk to people, participate if you can.
Yeah.
And vote. Like you shouldn't just post a black box and think, oh, okay, I helped.
That's what Big Cat was talking about.
Yeah.
When like if that type of thing doesn't do shit.
There are people that think that way though.
And at its core, the black box doesn't do anything. But it's about like the awareness and getting people to get more involved in the whole thing. But yeah, man, I guess my point is our episodes are not going to be, we're not going to have every episode be talking about Black Lives Matter, but at the same time, our show is about our lives. Mm-hmm. Like it's always been revolved around us.
Yeah.
And so if it's something going on, something we're passionate about, something we want to talk about, we're never going to hesitate to talk about it. So
yeah, and like we said in our statement, the point, like we enjoy having uncomfortable conversations. Most of our uncomfortable conversations are not like this kind of uncomfortable. It's
usually about like penises,
you know, like weird shit, like jerking off. That's to me, that's not uncomfortable at this point. It's just like a regular conversation.
But for a lot of people,
yeah. But I feel like we are kind of basically we're there if you need a little break from, you know, you shouldn't be looking for breaks like, oh, I just can't deal with this anymore. But like if you need a little laugh, like you know, you need like a little happiness in your life.
Yeah.
So if you need a little laugh, like we're here. We're not going to be posting all of our episodes like this, but this was something that was so important that needed to be talked about.
Yeah. I encourage everybody to take action. Listen, I know you see it literally. That's all you can see on social media right now, which I think is a good thing. But seriously, listen, like in the past, when all these other police killings happened, like I'd see them and I would acknowledge that it's bad. And I was on the side or on like the black people's side that this is terrible, but I didn't do anything. And if you're in high school or middle school or whatever, and you're like I was,
don't be like that.
Dude, even if it's like $3, it makes a difference. So in the description of this video on YouTube and in the show notes, I'll leave the link. I'll leave multiple links. But for me, the most helpful one has been the official Black Lives Matter How You Can Help tab. Just because that has like, that's like
it's from everything. It's from the movement too.
Yeah, so you can find like they have everything laid out. They have places you can sign petitions, places to donate, ways you can help, like ways to learn. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just encourage you guys to get involved because although you think your one voice can't make a difference or won't make a difference,
it can.
If 10 million or a million people all feel that way, it clearly will make a difference.
Yeah.
You know.
And just educate yourself. Listen to, like I said, listen to black people. Educate yourself. Don't be afraid to learn something new. That's like really, really important right now.
Listen, we got a lot to learn too.
Yeah,
we're with you.
I'm still learning. Yeah.
I've seen some of the like people are posting like reading lists to learn about like black culture and black history and like Netflix stuff. I'm gonna be honest, haven't read or watched a single one in my past, and I'm like, that's probably a sign that I need to learn more shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, okay. Now, Anonymous.
Okay.
Can we talk about this?
Dude, I had never heard of them before this.
Bro, I was mind blown when you texted or I sent a message and you're like, "Oh, is that the hacker group?" I was just shocked.
I didn't know.
Growing up, you don't remember? Okay, so when they were trying to catch Osama bin Laden.
Did they catch Osama bin Laden?
No, but they leaked. That's when like I first heard about Anonymous.
Oh, really?
And they leaked so much shit back then. Dude. And they've been in like a 10-year. But even before that, they've been around like forever. And they
it's basically like a nerd army, which is fucking awesome.
Dude.
For good, too.
And people don't realize. I think so people like you, I guess, are just people that are younger now who haven't heard of them until now. Either think they're not real or that like they don't make that big of a difference or they're just some rogue group. But like, dude, they're the real deal.
I hope they uncover so much shit.
Bro, like the government is horrified of them because they've never been caught and they've been doing this shit for like 20 years.
That's awesome.
Bro, so wait, we watch Mr. Robot, right? Or
I haven't seen it yet.
Dude,
is that like what it's kind of about?
It's literally like Mr. Robot was 100% inspired by Anonymous.
Really?
And it's crazy because if you watch Mr. Robot, you watch it and you're like, there's no fucking way there are people this smart in the world.
There are.
And then Anonymous comes back, and my dad and Jordan and I, when we saw Anonymous, their video that they posted, you watched it, right?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got goosebumps from that.
That's literally like in Mr. Robot, and we were just like, holy shit. Like,
wait, that scene is from Mr. Robot?
No, but like, that's the foundation of like what Mr. Robot is kind of about.
Okay.
And dude, it is just, I cannot wait to see how much good shit they bring to the world.
That's gonna be bad shit, but it's gonna be good because we deserve to know it. If people in power have been doing bad shit, we should know about it.
Like Trump raping little girls.
That Epstein. Well, we already knew that.
So, but
I think
that
was already
public knowledge.
Yes.
Which is, how did I not know that?
Exactly.
That's what I don't get. Is it was public record, and I've seen people saying like, yeah, anyone could have gone and read that.
It was because he like settled, so he didn't get charged with anything.
But it's like the file was still out there.
You're settling for like $3 million.
Probably more than that, dude.
That's what one of the settlements was. And there's also ones that are undisclosed amounts of money.
Yeah. Dude, like
seems to be a trend here.
Even if you just voted for Trump just because of his policies alone, like not anything about his character or whatever, just like his actual policy, how can you support his policy if he's a child rapist?
I mean, dude. I don't know, dude, because Joe Biden is like creepy too. So that's the thing that sucks. Is like, why can't we get young politicians that aren't fucking crazy? Like Andrew Yang. That guy's dope.
Yeah, but a lot of people despise the idea of universal basic income and like think it wouldn't work at all. Okay. So,
well, I'm saying normal people, like
people that are good people.
That's what drew me to Andrew Yang was he was like just a normal guy.
Yeah, that's what's tough is I feel like it's a combination of like voting is a combination of looking at their character as a human being and their policies.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just think certain policies are absolutely absurd, so they'll never vote for them, even if they're a really good person. But, bro, I just don't get the president is a child rapist.
I'm sure there's been plenty that have been. All those, dude. I'm saying
how?
I don't know. Yeah. People in power, very rich people are very scary. They do weird shit. I don't get it.
Like, dude, you could have
Robert Kraft getting jerked off. I mean,
I think getting a happy ending is a lot more normal than.
Yeah, that's true.
But
still, like, dude, what are you doing?
But dude, if you're a billionaire, you can have sex with anyone. Why are you gonna be a fucking?
You look like Trump.
I know, but with enough money.
Yeah.
I don't know, but dude, I don't know. Anonymous is back. They leaked that. They leaked. So they hacked the Minnesota Police Department, or no, the Chicago.
Like the speakers, yeah.
The speakers, and they played "Fuck the Police."
People were saying that apparently that's pretty easy though. So I don't know. But then also they shut down the Minnesota Police Department or Minneapolis Police Department website.
They also leaked all the emails and passwords of every single Minneapolis.
Did you read through some of the passwords?
Yeah,
they're weird,
bro. That proves how bad some people's passwords are. Yeah. Which is also why, if you watch Mr. Robot, you'll learn all the behind the scenes of a hacker. But like, it's so fucking easy for a hacker to hack someone because 99% of people have the most basic passwords.
But it's just so like past my realm of comprehension that people can hack. Like, how do you just get to that?
Okay, it is confusing. Like, I still don't understand the actual like science or like the
Typing of it,
the mechanical part of it. But if you watch Mr. Robot, anyone listening, I actually can almost guarantee you'll get the general gist of it and like how it works.
I'll watch that show.
It's amazing. But yeah, so what else? I think that's all they've done so far. But Anonymous, also, I think it needs to be noted, there is no real anonymous Twitter. So anything you
I unfollowed that.
Anything you see on Twitter from anyone, any Twitter account that claims they're anonymous, it's fake. It's not them because real hacker groups don't use social media because they can get tracked.
But also, how do we know that Anonymous uncovered the information if it comes out?
Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they probably posted on some rando website and then people on 4chan or Reddit find it. There's always weird internet people that can just, I don't know. But, so yeah, none of the Twitter accounts are real.
I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be people that, on both sides of, like, left and right wing people that suck that we're going to find out about. People, famous people that you probably liked, they probably suck too.
So now, what happens if we find out that Joe Biden has killed black people and also raped a 13-year-old girl?
I don't know.
Then we're in a bit of a shitty situation.
I think we're already in a shitty situation.
Well, yes. Horrible situation.
Yeah, I suspect Joe Biden's not a great person personally, but
I don't know.
I also suspect Donald Trump's not a good person. I just think most politicians just aren't very good people.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. There's been, like, research that determines, like, to be the president, you kind of have to be, like, a sociopath.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the thing. Who in their right minds wants to be a president?
I would never want to be the president. Ever.
Most people would never.
Yeah.
Bro, there's, like, when do you ever see a high school kid who's like, yeah, my dream is to be president?
I mean, like, there are some people, but they're
quickly,
most annoying people ever.
And they quickly realize that's not actually what they want to do.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. So, anyways, I have some other things, but they're not as important. So, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah. Should we do segments or nah?
We'll do segments.
Okay.
We're only at an hour 15, guys. Our segments today are top 5. What would you do if and sports with Kyle. Kyle.
Yes.
I've been just missing sports a lot. Like,
you want to talk sports first?
Yeah, so we're gonna talk sports, then away from sports, and then more sports. What are your top 5 specific places or like environments to watch a sporting event? So not just like on the couch. I need like specifics.
What do you mean?
Just places to engage in watching sports.
Okay.
So you got at the actual event, you got at a sports bar, you got with friends, you got by yourself, maybe just you and your mom.
Okay.
The possibilities are endless.
This is tough because there are times where like it also depends on your seats too. I think to go to a Super Bowl, I mean that would be great. I don't want to say I wouldn't want to go to a Super Bowl and like spend it with my friends. You know what I mean? Like if I'm saying go to a Super Bowl, but I got like nosebleed seats.
Bro, you gotta go.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I think.
Wait. Are we talking? We gotta clarify, because I think this changes depending on the type of game.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Let's say your average first round NFL playoff game.
Okay, I mean, that's a pretty big game.
Yeah,
okay.
But like top 5 ways to view it.
Okay, 1 for sure, being at the game. 2,
front row. Would that be your favorite, or would you actually prefer
50-yard line? Pretty close would be nice.
Okay.
For football, I think the closer the better. Baseball, it can differ because nosebleeds are kind of dope sometimes. Being close is kind of dope sometimes. It just depends where you are.
Have you ever sat behind home plate?
I never have. I've been like behind home plate, but like 30 rows up. I've been real close right behind the dugout. Never been right behind home plate. That's I will someday. That's a lot of money though. Yeah. So need more patrons.
Yeah. Also, shout out to people who are our patrons because of you guys, we put it on our Instagram story, but we donated through PIMS $450 to the Black Lives Matter fund. Which one specifically was it? It was
the Seattle Bail Fund.
Okay.
So protesters that have been getting arrested, they don't have bail money, and
we're hopefully helping them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 150 from me, 150 from Kyle, and 150 from Patreon. So that money we've made from our patrons over the last couple months. And if you guys want to become a patron, if you like our show or want to support us, we get you get extra content. There are personalized video shout outs, bloopers and deleted scenes videos, which are absolutely hilarious in my opinion. There are pictures of Kyle's feet.
That's number one right there.
You can join our Discord and talk to us. There's a lot of stuff, so be sure to check it out.
Okay. I should clarify really quick though. I said we need more patrons so I can sit behind home plate. We're not pocketing the money at the moment.
No.
You know, this is all going back into the show. So.
Yeah, like we don't make enough money to be like
we're not making money.
Yeah, we're not making money from the show. So, but any support helps. But
yeah.
Kyle,
yes.
So you're number one for an NFL playoff game.
At the game.
Okay.
2, with friends, excluding people that don't understand football.
Oh.
That's an important one, because when there's the person around that's like, no, it's like, I hate. Like,
why'd you run out of bounds?
Yeah, it's like, wow. Why'd he throw it away? Like, he wasn't even close to him. It's like, he was throwing the ball away. That was good. Or a baseball game, like, why doesn't he just throw a strike? He wasn't trying to, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a very important distinction. There needs to be food there.
At someone's house.
Yeah, at someone's house.
Okay.
Hopefully comfy couch blankets. Hopefully people that are all rooting for the same team. Well, I don't know. It's kind of fun if there's opposing people there. Okay. With my friends that care about sports. 3, what other environments are there? I don't even know.
There are watching it by yourself. There are at a sports bar. There
okay, next I'd say 3 I'd say
listening to it on the radio.
Baseball's cool on the radio. I don't like football on the radio. Yeah. 3 I would say going to a sports bar, because that can be a kind of a fun environment. It's similar to being with your friends, but more alcohol and way more people, which can be good and bad.
I love when you're either rooting for the same or different teams and you hear someone across the bar go like, oh!
Yeah, the best is on Sunday when you're just at a random bar and it's like a random like Titans game on, and there's that one Titans fan and he's just out of nowhere just,
and everyone like looks over from their wings.
That's what I love about sports. That's one of my favorites. Okay, 4, I'll say I'd probably say by myself. Opposed
to watching it like with your mom or with your
I'd rather watch it by myself than with my mom, to be honest. No offense, Mom. Then I'll say
this is the last one.
Then I'll say like with my mom or with people that don't care about it.
Because there's times when maybe you can educate them on why they should care about it.
Yeah. Like part of me wants to say radio so I can be by myself and not have bad opinions with me, but I'd rather watch the game than listen to it.
Yeah.
But there is something about baseball listening to on the radio that I like a lot better. Like, I'd much rather listen to a baseball game on the radio than a football game.
Or a basketball
game. I've never listened to a basketball game on the radio ever.
Basketball is like, it's so back and forth.
Yeah.
And so quick that it's like hard to listen to it on the radio for me.
Yeah, like if you close your eyes, baseball is very easy because it's like, here comes a 2-2 pitch. Oh, fouled off behind home plate.
And then there's like some time in between.
Yeah. And same with football. It's like there's time between plays. Okay. Yeah, so that's my 5.
All right.
Okay, John. So last time I did top 5 fingers. I'm making this a little more broad. We're going to go top 5 body parts.
Oh. I thought you were going to say top 5 toes.
That'd be no
dumb.
toes are good.
Body parts. What do I like the most?
So,
I mean,
we could go. Look, I'll say let's go your body parts, because you could go the route of like girl butt. With boobs.
Oh no,
go your personal body. What do you like the most?
Number 1, penis.
Okay, that's the right answer.
No, head. Okay, because if I don't have a brain, if my brain doesn't exist, my penis doesn't work. Okay.
Okay.
So I need my head. Okay. That's my favorite. Though face could use some work, but I'm talking about the head as a whole.
Just your brain. Maybe.
Yeah, my brain. Okay, brain, penis.
Okay. Hot top 2.
Then I would say mouth.
Okay.
Because I like talking and podcasting. It's my biggest passion.
We'll say that includes your tongue. and teeth.
Then I would say hands. And hands are number 4 because I would be willing. I'd rather have a mouth and a penis and a brain than hands. Would you agree?
I would agree. It's so weird. I would agree.
Dude, but if I didn't have hands, I'd have to like hire like if we both didn't have hands, how we wouldn't be able to edit the show, we'd have to like hire someone.
I was thinking jerking off. There's a way.
Do it
there's
with nubs.
There's a hook.
Yeah. A hook?
Not like a hook, but like there's a thing.
Okay.
Okay. So now
and
what?
then my 5th favorite. I mean, I'm not super invested. I guess my chest.
Okay.
No,
you don't like your nipples.
I don't like my nipples, so I can't say
like
my
nipples
chest.
either.
My shoulders. I like my shoulders.
You have good shoulders.
Yeah.
But your posture.
My posture's bad, but that's my back.
All right.
It stems from my
No,
back.
Shoulders are involved.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'll go with shoulders.
So like over feet.
Oh shit.
Or like knees.
Oh yeah, I'd rather
femur.
Yeah, I take back shoulders. I say feet. I could live with no knees. It would just be harder.
Yeah, dude.
Imagine sitting down right now. And our legs are just fully extended.
Also, you kicked me in the shin.
Sorry. All right, Kyle.
Yep.
What would you do if sports were canceled forever?
This is all sport. Oh man.
So all of a sudden, the government, maybe it's the leagues, maybe it's the government, they just say, you know what? Either financially or whatever reason, they just say,
done.
We're just ending all the professional leagues, period.
I would go into a period of mourning for a while. I have been in a bit of a period of mourning from sports being gone. It's weird that it feels like kind of normal that they're not here. And it's going to be weird when they come back, which is strange.
It's going to be a flood of like, oh my God, there's too many options.
I know I'm going to want to watch everything. Like I will watch that random Hawks-Hornets game. Like I don't give a fuck. I'm watching that now. I wouldn't have watched it before, but now I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have to find a new hobby. Like I think I'd play a lot more video games.
Mm-hmm. Get into gaming.
I think I'd become a gamer.
That's the next closest thing because it's competition.
I mean, I'd still like want to play sports, like play games and stuff, stay active. But yeah, I would need a new hobby.
Now, if it was just the U.S. that sports were canceled, would you consider moving to a different country where there are sports? Or would you just get a VPN and watch sports?
Oh, I'd get a VPN easily.
But like, is it because sports are a pretty damn big part of your life?
I don't think I would move because to me, sports are not as important as the people that I love.
Yeah.
So I'd rather be close to the people that I love than have sports.
Yeah.
So.
But dude, imagine for the next 70 years, you can never go to a game in person unless you like fly to Canada or to like Sweden.
Yeah.
But if you live
there's no leagues that I care about that are outside the U.S. though, really, which is weird.
But maybe all the good players would then go play in these other leagues.
If there's like a Canadian MLB, I'd be a fan of whoever's in Vancouver. I'd be driving up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
John, what would you do if you're on Tinder and you just meet this girl of your dreams?
Okay.
And you're talking to her for a while. Like, let's say you're even at the point where you're Snapchatting and you find out a year later, 2 years later, she's catfishing you. Like, you're even Snapchatting, so you're at the point where like, oh, she's got to be real.
Yeah.
And then you find out, no, it's just like old fat man.
Because I tell her like, hey, send a photo of you holding up a note card that says like watermelon.
Yeah, and she finds it.
And she does it.
Do it.
But it turns out she's just really good at Photoshop.
Yeah,
and can fake it.
Anonymous hackers.
I mean, I assume I would find out when I first met her in person. Like we went out to brunch. To meet up, and she's just like,
or she finally comes clean, and she's just like, you know what, John, like you were getting to the point where you're like, I think I'm gonna like I need to meet you so like I can propose to you.
And then she's like, all right, well, there's one thing I want to tell you.
Yeah,
this is what I really look like.
Or like you fly out to wherever she is, and you're waiting for her at a park, just like Neve and Max always are, and then like around the corner comes this man, and he's like, why is this guy walking towards me? He's looking at me, and he goes, hey, John.
Dude. Like, even if I don't think hot girls catfish people, but like if it was a hot girl catfishing me pretending to be a different hot girl,
I'd be like, oh, okay.
I think I'd be a little more intrigued, but I still probably would never talk to them again.
Them.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust them. But like, dude, if it was like a guy and for months I've been like intimately Snapchatting them or something and like flirty,
Yeah.
dude, that would like obviously
That'd fuck you up, yeah.
I wouldn't talk to them, but dude, I would feel like such a dummy and just feel so bad about myself.
Yeah.
Knowing that
I would always make fun of you for that.
like this person was just fucking with me.
Yeah.
And I was that easy to be manipulated.
I'll say at first I would feel really bad for you, but there would come a point where that's one of the funniest things ever.
I would never live it down.
And
You'd be like,
yeah.
like, yo, remember when John like dated that guy on accident?
Yeah. That would be pretty funny. I don't wish that upon you, but that would be funny.
Yeah.
That would be great for the show, I'll say.
I don't know if I could keep podcasting after that because I'd never live it down.
It's true.
But if something like that happens to you, you kind of have to embrace it. Like
Yeah.
there's certain people on the internet that, you know, they'll have in their bio like, oh, I'm the guy that did blank. So I could just be like, I'm the guy that
got catfished.
got catfished for a year by a guy.
Yeah. 22, male, got catfished.
Yeah.
I host a podcast. Okay.
All right, Kyle. There's not a whole lot of sports, but I
there's-
heard some baseball stuff.
Yeah, yeah. One thing, it's been awesome to hear a lot of athletes speaking up. Not all of them. There's been some quiet ones, and there's been like people like Drew Brees who didn't have the best opinion, in my opinion. But yeah, it's been really cool to like see people that like have a following. A lot of athletes speaking up on what's going on right now. Okay, so news for like baseball and stuff. Baseball, I don't think is as close. Basketball, we have strong possibilities. There's a vote. By the time this comes out, the vote may have already happened. So hopefully it passes. But Woj tweeted that tomorrow there's a vote on a 22-team return to play proposal. So some key points here. All 22 teams will return to play at Disney's ESPN Wide World of Sports complex in July. So this would happen like July 31st would probably start. And it would hopefully end like October 12th at the latest.
All the games would be in Florida?
Yeah, so they would like basically they would quarantine into this bubble and then like once your team's out, you like go home.
Oh.
So it includes current playoff teams and teams within 6 games of final playoff spots. So that's why it's 22 teams, like the Hawks and like the Warriors.
Yeah.
Like there's no point.
Yeah.
Western Conference teams. I'll read that after. So it includes 8 regular season games and a potential play-in tournament to determine the playoff field. So basically, like
some March Madness vibes.
Yeah, because I feel like it's hard to just like roll with the teams that you have now. Because personally, I'm a Trailblazers fan, and they had really bad luck with injuries at the beginning of the year, and their strength of schedule at the end of the year was going to be really low, and they were about to just win a bunch of games, and I think they could have made the playoffs. Because a lot of people got healthy too.
Yeah.
So it would be a bummer to just like roll with the teams you have now. So I feel like having a little tournament would be kind of cool. Plus, this season's already fucked up anyways. Why not just like try something new?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the teams in the East, we have the Bucks. So there's the 8 playoff teams right now: the Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Pacers, 76ers, Nets, Magic, and then the 9th team in the East is the Wizards. So the East is like there's a lot better of an opportunity to get into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the West, there's 13 teams: Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder, Rockets, Mavs, Grizzlies. Those are the playoff teams right now. And then Blazers, Pelicans, Kings, Spurs, Suns. Those are the teams that are like technically still in contention. So hopefully, I think sounds like they would play those games, like 8 playoff games, and then like the seeds would move. And then I think there would be, I would guess with like the bottom couple seed, like maybe just the 8th seed, there's like a play-in tournament kind of thing. So that'd be kind of cool. That's just exciting to hear the basketball is like coming back.
Yeah, I assume no fans.
No fans.
I'm surprised,
It's
but
all gonna be in Orlando.
I guess. I mean, I assume they'll all get tested. But like, what happens if one guy on the team tests positive?
I don't know. I'm
Then-
sure they have a way of covering it. But yeah, they're the most close of like baseball, basketball. Actually, the NHL apparently is coming back soon, but I don't give a fuck about it. Hockey, so whatever.
Yeah.
And baseball, they've just been going back on proposals, and the owners they're gonna lose money. The billionaires are gonna lose money, so they just can't do it.
Sounds like
And the players don't want to play for like fucking no money because like, what if I get hurt and then I never get paid again?
And then I heard like 50 games or 40 games or something.
Yeah,
but it's like, dude, 40 games, like.
Yeah, I don't know. So baseball, it's a black eye for baseball. Oh, okay, and then just this other piece of news that I heard that was, it sucks, but it's funny. Henry Ruggs, who's on the Raiders, he just got drafted. He hurt his thigh helping a friend move. Exactly why you don't help people move. If someone asks me to help them move, I don't want to really help you, and that's why you shouldn't.
No, you should help. You should help your friends move if they need help.
Yeah, but
moving.
no one wants to help people move.
No one wants to, but sometimes you got to help your friends.
Okay, if you're a professional athlete, don't help people move.
Okay, if you're a pro athlete, you can't risk getting hurt. Bro, I feel like it's impossible to move and not hurt something.
Yeah.
Every time I've had to move anything, I tweak something.
Yeah, you take like a table to the shin or like a. Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, that's basically what we have. There's not a lot of sports happening right now.
Yeah. This is a long-ass episode, so hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I have to edit this episode right now because it has to go up literally tomorrow because we're behind, but hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you did, be sure to leave a review on the Apple Podcast app. Please, please, please.
Yeah, we're so close to 100.
Yeah, once we get to 100, we're going to do a habanero episode.
Ugh.
I don't know how it's going to go.
It's
gonna be a miserable episode, but we're gonna eat habaneros and then we're going to try and do a podcast.
We are at 87. Just 13 of you. We just need 13 of you just to rate us 5 stars and leave a nice little review on the Apple Podcast app. Very simple.
So yeah, do that. Also, if you want a full video version of the show, maybe you're new around here, maybe you just usually listen to us while you're doing other things. If you're just chilling, I highly think that the video version is way better than the audio version. And we spent time editing it, so be sure to check it out on YouTube. We've been gaining a really good amount of subscribers like every week. So yeah, go subscribe over there and hit the bell on our channel page so that it notifies you when we upload, because otherwise the whole YouTube system is fucked and sometimes you don't even know when we upload. But yeah, guys, Kyle, where can I follow you?
Instagram at KyleSafford36. Follow me on Twitter if you want see that retweet. Follow the podcast at PIMS Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Just stay active in this. Don't let this die down. Try and have these conversations with people and try to learn something.
Yeah. You can follow me at Hey Narwhal on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also subscribe to my personal YouTube channel called The Narwhal.
It's a hard word.
There are new episodes of this show every single Monday and Thursday of your entire life. So be sure to follow us if you're new here. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.